You know, in the gospel, Jesus has been talking to his disciples repeatedly 3 times about the fact that he needed and that he was going to go to Jerusalem, and there he was going to suffer terribly, and that he was going to die. And they just never got it. It never sank in. They didn't realize what he was saying, and they still thought, and you heard it in the gospel, that Jesus was going to be in a great position. They were going to be, really recognized. They were going to be kind of famous people. And even when they died, they say to Jesus, please give us this, that we'll be seated at your right and in your left in the kingdom. And that brings Jesus to the point where he says, look, my kingdom is not about power. It's not about prestige. It's not about ruling over people. It's not about position. It's about service. My position, my ministry, my life is all about serving others, and as his followers, as his disciples, you also are called to be my followers. It's a wonderful little story that I read this week about a lady who had lost her husband after many, many years, and she just went into a very deep depression. Her family did not know what to do for her or with her. So because she wasn't responsive, they placed her in a nursing home. And every day in the nursing home, she wouldn't acknowledge anyone. She wouldn't talk to anyone. She would simply sit in the day room and rock in a chair. And her family would come to visit her. They wouldn't get any kind of conversation or response, so they would just leave very, very quickly. But there was one young nurse working in the nursing home every day. She would come, she would pull over a rocking chair, and she would sit next to this lady and just rock. That's all she did. And then she'd get up and go about her duties. And she would do that every other day. She did it for several months. And one day, when she got up to leave, after rocking with the lady, she put her hand on the lady's arm, and she handed her a tissue. And the lady spoke. The lady said, "Thank you. Thank you for rocking with me," and began to come out of her depression, thanks to the ministry, the service of that young nurse. So those of you at home, you might say to yourself, so what's our service? We're homebound, we're not well, we have health problems. Your service, the greatest service you can offer, and the greatest service, in my opinion, that's a need in the church, are your prayers. What we really need are your prayers. We need your prayers, certainly for Pope Francis, for Bishop Lennon, for all those in positions of leadership within the church. We need your prayers for our world, and you need to pray and remember for your loved ones, your family, and your friends. So my friends, that is your act of service. That is your ministry. That is something you can do better than anyone else. Just pray for others.